I am so excited to be here with you guys today because this is a gem of a human that to me, it's like a huge honor to be able to introduce him and to be able to share him with you guys. So let me tell you a little bit about how I met Chris Lee. Okay. So it was at the Summit of Greatness event. Chris, do you remember that when we met in the Summit of Greatness?
How could I forget? Of course, I'm so inspired and moved by meeting you.
Thank you. Well, the feeling was more than mutual. So he was giving this presentation, this workshop, and it was the first workshop in the Lewis House event. And I remember being like, I wasn't sure who he was, and I was like, my friend Betsy was had invited me to the event, and she's like, oh, we have to pay extra to go to his event, but it sounds like it's going to be really good. Maybe we should go to it. I'm like, I don't know if we should pay extra. And I was like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's go to the event. You guys, it was my first introduction to the event, and I sat there with Chris. And as I heard him talking about his philosophy on life, his abundance mentality, him talking about those things that he's gone through, the stories that he's shared, it was life-changing, totally transformational. Had I just gone to that event and then gone home, it would have probably been enough. But then I ended up staying and hearing all the other amazing speakers. But Chris Lee was really something that, to this day, his stories, his words, his enthusiasm has stuck with me. And then I found out he's a Boricua. And then I found out that he knows my dad and that he was friends with my dad. And for me, that was like, and today I get to share him with you. So Chris, thank you for being here.
My pleasure, my privilege, my honor. I think it's wonderful to be able to create these platforms to offer tools to people that just by being here tonight, your life is going to elevate. And to me, that's what this is about.
That's exactly right.
It's about using our experience and using the tools to transform our lives. And what people don't realize is that we are a thought away from having what we want and from being what we want. Just a thought away.
Okay, that's too good to not delve into. So what do you mean by that? What do you mean by we're one thought away?
What I mean is that thoughts come in patterns. And so we live in a pattern of thinking, a pattern of being, a pattern of doing. And so when I shift how I think and I shift my mindset, my reality shifts. So where you put attention, energy follows. So if my attention is in negative thoughts and scarcity thoughts and fear-based thoughts, energy follows. And what you think about expands. If my thoughts are in loving thoughts, joyful thoughts, abundance thoughts, faith-driven thoughts, then that expands and my energy goes there. It's kind of like when you look at thoughts as an environment. If you go to where we're from, which is Puerto Rico, and you go to the rainforest, El Yunque has this beautiful tropical, it's a little bit cooler. The temperature is cooler than the rest of the island. It's wet, it's humid, and it's a beautiful environment where orchids grow organically because the environment creates the orchid. If you go to Arizona, you go to Las Vegas, you go to El Paso, Texas, it is dry, it is hot, it is very blistering. And so an orchid would not survive in that environment. It would not grow in that environment. It would not be natural to that environment. Cactus, tumbleweed, scorpions, they all thrive in that environment. El Yunque, a tree frog, el coqui, you know, that it's the most perfect environment for the Puerto Rican parrot. You know, it's the perfect environment for that. And so when I say that we are a thought away from having what we want, it's shifting a desert thought into a rainforest thought.
So I'm going to ask you a question about that because It's very easy to have those thoughts when things are going well. But when you are in crisis, when you're having stress at work, in your case, which I want to give you my condolences. This is the first time I've seen you face to face, but for those of you that don't know, Chris Lee's mom just passed away. So I want to tell you how much I send you love for that. You know that you've been in my heart this last few weeks. But I have seen you go through this very difficult time. You lost your father, which we're gonna have to share the story about your father, which is incredible. And you've now lost your mom. And those are difficult things to go through. And it's hard and it's painful. So how do you shift from a desert thought to a rainforest thought when you're in the thick of it and you are in pain?
Well, one thing doesn't change the other. So pain and sadness and anxiety and fear, you got to give yourself permission to experience those things, because if not, you don't heal. So
Correct.
I'm not saying put a Band-Aid on something or to bypass something or to ignore something. I'm saying that even though I'm in pain, even though I'm in sadness, it is all done from a container of the rainforest. So I'm in gratitude as I mourn my mother. I'm in gratitude as I experience loss. I'm in gratitude because I'm focusing. My energy and my thoughts are in loving, supportive, empowering thoughts. That's all rainforest. I refuse to go to victim and why is this happening? Y por qué me pasó esto? Y ay Dios mío y ay bendito. No.
Yeah.
I don't go there. That's the desert. Everything dies in the desert, unless you're a scorpion.
Yeah.
I take loss and I take heartbreak and I take negative situations and I turn them into blessings. Because one thing I teach is breakdowns are blessings. So no, it's not just when things are going great. That's the easy part. It's when la candela, when it's on fire, when it's a massive tsunami, I still have a choice in the middle of the worst moment of my life. And I'm speaking from experience. I'm not speaking like a consultant. I am experiencing right now as we speak, the most devastating experience of my life. My mother is my best friend. My mother is my universe. I still try to call her. I'm like, oh, she's not there anymore. I have like 100 voice messages from her. I listen to them. I have pictures of her right behind me. There's a picture of her. I'll show it to y'all. Actually, she's right behind me. The box up there, that's her. She's in the box. She wanted to be cremated, and she said, I want to be in your living room. Okay. So she's in my living room, and she's in the box. And I have an orchid, a white orchid, which is her favorite flower, in front of her. And I have a red star, which represents the star that we all are. I have a rosary on top of her because she believed in God, even though, and Jesus, even though she was a Jew. Jews for Jesus.
Jews for Jesus.
She's like, I believe in Buddha. If that helps, you know. I want all the protection when I go. So
Yeah,
she's like,
por si las moscas.
Por si acaso. She's like, dame Buddha, dame Jesús, dame Cristo, dame todo el mundo, like baby Jesus. So she was a comedian by nature. But
really? So it's genetic?
Oh God, yes. Humor, even down to her last moments, she was laughing.
That's wonderful.
She was laughing. She says, let everyone know that I dragged my heels into the grave. Those were her last words.
So as you are experiencing this sadness that you are experiencing, do you how do you allow yourself, or how do you make the transition in that experience when you're feeling so sad? And this is really important to me particularly, is how do you choose your language? How do you prevent yourself from getting stuck in those words of like, this is so hard. This is all the words that take us toward the desert as opposed to away from it. And does choosing your language help you?
Yeah, and that's a great question. Language is everything, because language brings experience and thoughts into reality. And so what you speak, you create. Words become things. Words become things. And so I'm very, very mindful of how I communicate what's happening for me, and mindful of what I do with it with myself. And so I don't look, I focus my energy on the blessing that her life was. So even her funeral was not a funeral. I don't like the word funeral. It was celebration of life. So what did we do? We brought everybody on Zoom because, of course, now with Delta coverage, the Delta thing, I got everybody on Zoom. We had people from all over the world. We had almost 200 people on there. And I could see people's faces when it started. It was like this. And then I started it with this. And I played Mamma Mia by ABBA. So I started the whole thing with ABBA. That's how the funeral started. And the celebration of life, right? Because it wasn't really, I started with this. Which is my mom's favorite song. So it was like upbeat. And then
release that energy.
Yeah, and the second song was Cabaret by Liza Minnelli, which is about what's good at sitting alone in your room, come hear the music play. Life is a cabaret. And the message is it's not a long away from cradle to tomb, so it's make every moment count. And so I process my mom's loss, my mom's passing as a blessing. Because I'm focusing on, she had 92 years of health, 91 years of perfect health. The last year is when she started getting a little not as healthy, and she was more challenged, and she died in her sleep. And the other thing is that she lived a blessed life. She had a life that she lived 100 lifetimes in one. She packed in 92 years. And her secret to living, I'll share it with all of you. 2 things. Let go of the past. She never talked about it. What happened? Why are you asking? It already happened. The second thing was always have something to look forward to. Even when she was on her deathbed, she knew she wasn't going to get out of her deathbed, but she was like, and when I turn 95, I want to go on a Greek cruise. So make sure that we start booking tickets now, because she loved to save money, because we could save some money. So she wanted to book the tickets for the Greek cruise, and so that's how I process it. It's not the pain. It is not the breakdown. So we're looking at breakdowns. The breakdown's not the issue. The issue is how you process it and where you place it in your mind. And so you could resist a challenge and resist a painful moment, or you could say, yes, right? Yes, I crashed my car. Yes, my husband dumped me. Yes, I stepped on the scale and I broke it. Yes, I'm broke. Yes, another variant, another one. Yes,
And why? Okay, but why yes? Why yes? Explain that to them. Because
Because
the people in this audience don't know
your
about your theory.
brain automatically goes to we're screwed. Your brain is Steven Spielberg, a movie director who creates screenplays. And your brain has a Steven Spielberg ability to create the worst movie outcome of the planet. Think about it. How many of you have created these scenarios in your brain that never happened? They were just in your brain and caused you unnecessary stress. And so what does yes do? It's an interrupter. It's like you create un cortocircuito. You know, your brain wants to go, what do you mean yes? Are you kidding me? But the energy of yes is like, okay, how is this an opportunity? What can I learn from this? How do I grow from this? How do I turn this negative situation into an opportunity?
And so, Chris, on our chat, we have Miriam who's asking, could that also be a learned behavior?
Well,
the Steven Spielberg, is that a learned behavior, or do we all have a Steven Spielberg in our heads?
No, that's learned. We were not born with that. We were actually, what I'm talking about is how we were born. We were born, yes. Children automatically see life from a joyful lens. Children automatically are positive and happy.
And dismissive, right? Dismissive.
And if they have a negative moment, they'll experience it at its full capacity, and then they let it go. They don't hang on to stuff. It's a learned behavior to hang on to drama, to hang on to negativity, to hang on to sadness. I'm not saying that after I say yes, I don't cry. I could say yes and have a good cry and have and give myself permission to release my pain and my anger, but I shift into positive energy, blessing energy. I shift into optimism because we literally have a remote control. And by the way, when you shift your energy, the universe conspires. It's amazing how that is.
Oh my God.
You shift your energy, it conspires.
Okay. For the girls that are in, so first of all, we got right into this, and I haven't even introduced myself to the people that don't know me on this call. My name is Caroline de Posada, and welcome. If you are not a member of my community and you're here for Chris, thank you for being here and for trusting both of us with your time and with your energy. But for those of you that are in my community, you know that I always say life is rigged in our favor. And now you are meeting the person that introduced me to that concept of the universe is rigged in our favor. And it was the story that you shared about you and Arianna Huffington. And you have to share that story with our community, because I live by that. I think I lived by that intuitively before, but then you gave me the words I needed to be able to make that, what I naturally thought, actually something that I can verbalize. So for that, I am so grateful. So tell them what happened with Arianna Huffington.
So, I've always believed that life happens for us, not to us. Like, I've always had that belief, like life is happening for me, not to me. And I also believe that life happens from me. In other words, I generate what happens around me. But the idea of that, not only does life happen from me and for me, it's actually happening in my favor. That is like a whole nother cut. And I learned that because I was watching Oprah interview Arianna Huffington, who created Huffington Post and is now the head of Thrive Global. Huffington Post, she sold it for $200 million, which was a big deal for a woman in business to create an online newspaper and to sell it for that. And, when Oprah said, "What's been the key to your success?" her response was, "It's very simple. I have the mindset that life is rigged in my favor. And when I heard that, all of my lights went on. It just set off like a chain of events in my internal world. Like, oh my God, I'm obsessed. That is so me. And what a great mindset, right? Like, what a great take on challenges and breakdowns. Because we all know, and we knew this always, right? You know that the issue is not the breakdown, it's what you do with it. The issue is not the challenge. It's not the breakup. It's where you go with it. It's not that you lost your job. It's where you go with it. It's not the pandemic. It's where you go with it. But to look at, wait a minute, the pandemic's in my favor. This divorce is in my favor. I did not get picked for this role is in my favor. This relationship did not work out. It's in my favor. That is a real faith-based mindset that everything happening is happening in my favor because I trust that my universe, you could call it God, I call mine God, I believe in God. I trust that God never puts anything in my life that's not in my favor. Even though in the moment it may seem like hell. In the moment it may seem like, oh my God, I can't live without her, or I can't live without him. My life is over. We've all been there. But then life offers you so many gifts that you're like, thank God that happened.
That's right.
It's like when I think of every single success in my life, including my book, which I'll share about later on, but this was a miracle that happened. And it happened out of a series of challenges that I said, it's in my favor. I was supposed to write 2 other books that didn't get picked up, that were not good enough, that were, that the feedback was not there. And I remember thinking, this is happening for me. This is happening from me and for me, and I'm going to learn from this. But when I went and I learned from Ariana, everything in life is rigged in my favor, that was mind-blowing. And since I believe in manifestation, I said, one day I'm going to manifest Ariana Huffington in my life. And so there I am. This is
my favorite part.
3 months later, I'm on an airplane from JFK to Los Angeles. Of course, I manifested an upgrade because I roll that way. I just said, I will be upgraded on this flight. And I got upgraded to first class. Thank you very much. And there I am sitting in my first class seat, all comfortable. And guess who sits right next to me? Ariana Huffington, la misma. And she's sitting down and she's like involved with 25. She's got her headset on. She's got glasses on, but you can't miss her. So I look at her, I'm like, oh my God, that's Ariana Huffington. I can't believe this. I'm so powerful. I manifested her. And I wanted to manifest her to find out what she meant by life is rigged in my favor. So I look at her and she looks at me and she goes like this. And I go, double hello. And she went like this, like, give me a minute. I'm like, got it. And so she finishes her call. She's like, make sure that Dubai, make sure that in Paris, my thing is ready. Make sure that this, make sure it's that, make sure that in Asia, the crazy rich Asians know what to do. I mean, she was like, this, like I'm telling you, it was hysterical. And then she starts going, yeah, and let Cher know I'll call her back. Are you kidding me? I'm obsessed with Cher. She never ages. She's still on a farewell tour. So then she's had like 10 years of farewell tours. So then she hangs up and I look, she says, hi. And I go, hello, I manifested you. She said, what do you mean? I go, I am a big fan, Ariana. I saw you on Oprah. And from the moment I saw you on Oprah, I've been obsessed with you. And she's like, really, Chris Lee? I'm like, how do you know who I am? I don't know if I share this. She's like, I'm a fan of the podcast, Lewis Howes. I've listened to your interviews. And she's like, you've done something right because you've been on, I don't know, 18 times at that time. And I've only been on once. So you've done something right. But I go, Ariana, listen, I just want you to know that I was very moved by your words. It changed my life. What did you mean by life is rigged in your favor? And she said, well, I'll share with you some things that are public knowledge. I've had life debilitating illnesses. And my attitude towards those illnesses, that this is rigged in my favor, allowed me to use my energy and to create healing energy for me. I believe that my mindset supported my healing process. You want to learn more about that? Read anything about from Louise Hay. Louise Hay was a pioneer on how mindset can heal your body. Louise Hay. The second thing is my husband, and this is public knowledge, so I'm not speaking anything that's out of confidentiality. My husband left me for a man. ¿Tú te imaginas que tu marido te deja por un hombre? Her husband left her for a man. She goes, that could have crushed me, but I went, this is definitely rigged in my favor. Her business partners ripped her off time and time again. And because of those challenges, not only did she gain more power and more power, she became one of the top whatever shareholders, rigged in her favor. And she said that she had gotten death threats ever since she became a woman in the world she was in, rigged in her favor, and that her whole mindset has been that. Wow. And so, of course, we created a connection, and she enrolled me in being part of Thrive Global. So check out Thrive Global, which is Ariana's platform that's all about inspirational messages and articles, and I'm one of her writers. So check it out, Chris Lee on Thrive Global. So that's my Ariana story.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And I want to know, Chris, I want to know how you got into this world. How did you get into this? How did you learn this stuff?
I think we're frozen for a moment. Can you hear me now?
I hear you.
Okay.
Does everybody hear him?
Yeah.
By the way, guys, before you answer that question, by the way, for the community, if you guys have a question that you want to ask Chris, you have got him all to yourself for 30 minutes. So make sure that you put it on the chat, and we will make sure to ask him, because this is, he said that this is a tell-all. He will answer any questions that we have. So how did you get into this?
So I was born in New York. I grew up in Puerto Rico. I moved to Puerto Rico when I was 1. When I was 6.
I was born in New York too, by the way.
Oh, really? Oh my God. I was born in New York, in Long Island and Huntington. And then when I was a year, we moved to Puerto Rico. And so I lived in Puerto Rico. When I was 6, my biological father abandoned us. He left, se llevó todo y nos dejó en la calle. And my mom, in the middle of all that, went, yes, and echó pa'lante our 5 siblings and herself. She remarried when I was 10. So I grew up feeling like I belonged nowhere, because I didn't have my father. We were a Jewish family in a Catholic country. We were American in a Latino environment. And so there was a lot of prejudice. Plus, I was different. I've always been different. And so a lot of prejudice, a lot of bullying. So talk about being bullied. Plus, I was hyperactive, so I couldn't sit still in school. I'm still hyperactive. Now I get paid for being hyperactive. Anyway, so I was in school. Me botaron de todas las escuelas. Me botaron de Parkfield. Me botaron de Commons. Me botaron de todas las escuelas. I could not fit into any school. But the amazing thing is I graduated from a school in Chicago through correspondence, and I got accepted to Northeastern University in Boston. And so that's when my life transformed, because when I was in Boston, I said, I want to study communications and psychology, a major in communications, a minor in psychology. And so part of what we were to do in psychology was to participate in leadership seminars. So I did a seminar back then that literally the seminar changed. You know how you said that the workshop with me was life defining? Imagine spending 3 days with me. Like imagine spending, I'm serious, it's a 3-day workshop where there's 100 different situations like what you experienced with that one quote. Imagine having all these experiences. That's what I had. And I said, I found my passion. I'm going to be a trainer. I'm going to be like your father. I'm going to be a public speaker that inspires, that moves people. I was 22 at the time. I'm 56. And look at this. Amazing. 56.
Y
And proud.
entero.
And
Y
proud.
estás entero.
Enterito. Unas libritas de más, pero mira, más para agarrar. Um, anyway, so I did the workshops and I went, okay, that I don't want to be a psychologist anymore. I don't want to be dealing with people's issues. I want to be dealing with solutions. And so I became an apprentice for free at this company. My mom was like, "Estás loco, you're crazy. Are you out of your mind? You went to college to be apprentice for free. What? I don't understand that." I'm like, "Mom, trust the process." So within a year, I became one of the youngest trainers of the company. And they had seminars in Russia, China, Latin America, United States, Australia. I was traveling the world already at 23.
Wow, that is fascinating.
And at 30, I said, my island, Puerto Rico, doesn't have it. So I brought it to Puerto Rico. I brought the movement to Puerto Rico. It was called Life Spring in Puerto Rico. And then it became Momentum and Quantum and Impacto Vital, which is my company. So I created my own brand, which your father actually participated in some of those seminars and co-led. And we worked with Ivis Davila. I don't know if she's here. Do you remember the name Ivis Davila?
The name sounds very familiar, but I don't know.
Ivis,
I don't know.
Ivis was the creator of Seminarios Imagen.
Oh my God, yes, I know that very well. Yes.
And she had Secretaries Week every year, and she would hire Chris Lee and Joaquin de Posada.
Wow.
And so I had a lot of experiences with your father, and we just shared the same mindset. Just like, that's why there was interesting. You had a connection with me without even knowing my connection to your dad.
I know. And look how life is rigged in our favor.
Similar styles. We use our hands and our energy and the passion and the humor. So there was a lot of that. Anyway, so I became a trainer, created my own brand, and then now have stepped into executive celebrity coaching, podcasts, books, doing exclusive custom design workshops for different people. And I own now my own seminar companies. I own a seminar company in Texas. I own a seminar company in Columbus, Ohio. I own a seminar company in Philadelphia. I am a partner in Chicago, San Diego as well. I own a seminar company, partner in Las Vegas, LA, Boston. So we got companies around the world that offer this kind of online. It's all online now because of COVID. And so I think that, that's what I've been doing. That's like a brief version of how I got involved in all this.
So we have a question on the chat, and this is a very interesting question. Miriam says her mom is listening to this call right now, and she's going through dealing with accepting and understanding her brother and his alcoholism, and he's currently in recovery. And his mom's question is, can alcoholism be rigged in his favor?
What a great question, because I've had two siblings that were alcoholics, and the answer is absolutely yes, because it's not the alcoholism that's the issue. It's what he does with it. And so if he's choosing to see it like, wow, it's rigged in my favor because, one, I'm able to accept that I am an alcoholic. Two, I'm able to identify that there's something I could do about it. Three, I'm in recovery. Four, I've got an incredible mom and an incredible sister that is supportive of me. I'm alive. As long as I have oxygen, I have choice. So there's so many. Looking at life is rigged in my favor is looking at the blessings. When I look at the blessings, it focuses my energy on not just the blessings, but solutions. It's rigged against me if I don't get treatment, if I don't let people support me, if I don't take responsibility, if I don't own it, if I continue to drink. So it's all where I choose to look at it. If I look at it como una cruz que tengo que cargar y que yo estoy encasillado, soy una porquería porque soy alcohólico. No, alcoholism is a disease. And I've had a lot of people who had cancer who chose to embrace cancer, look at it as rigged in their favor, and turn their health around and turned all of their lifestyle around. It's all the attitude and the energy we put to it.
So Chris.
And at the end, is there a guarantee? No, there is no guarantee. But I do guarantee something, that your life is way more probable to turn out the way you want it, seeing it that way, versus I'm a victim of it. So hopefully that could provide some light. And it's important, Mom, I'll talk to you directly. It is not your fault, so don't blame yourself. I'm going to say it really loud. Mom, it is not your fault, so please don't blame yourself. Because moms blame themselves. If I had done this, if I had done that, if I had been more this, more that. No, you are the most amazing mom. You are an amazing mom. You are the epitome of unconditional love. So what you can do to support your son in healing is love, 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 but don't enable. So the door is open. As long as you follow the rules, you don't follow the rules, then you know what? I'm going to close the door. Because the worst thing you could do is to allow people, that's true about boundaries too, right? When people cross your boundaries, you know how we have people that we make exceptions for? They keep disrespecting us and disrespecting us and disrespecting us. We're like, oh, they don't know better. And oh, no, they do know better. They know they could get away with it, which is why they keep doing it. So stop it. Draw the line. Anyway, I had to say that.
So Chris, interestingly, I have my husband here. Come here. You've never met my husband.
Yes, I did.
Did you? No, I don't think so.
Did he come to the abundance workshop that I did with?
No.
Let me see his face. Hi.
Hi.
So come sit here next to me. So actually, and this is an interesting situation, but real quick. So my husband, do you want to tell them?
Yes. Why not? First time ever publicly speaking about this. I actually, for 2 very dark years in my life, I had a drinking problem, and I haven't had a drink in 6 years. And I haven't said anything publicly. I've told many individual people, but I've never said anything publicly. But you know, when Caro said rigged can alcoholism be rigged in your favor? You know, where my mind went to is when you beat that, there's very few things that frighten you, right? And a lot of the traits that make someone an alcoholic, obsessive behavior, obsessive compulsive behavior, part of it, right? You can't just have one, you need 10. That can be flipped into going to the gym. That can be flipped into that OCD sort of behavior that alcoholics share can be a positive, and you can turn it in your favor to get in shape. Look, I say this all the time. If I can hang out with my friends at a fantasy football draft and watch them drink around me and not be fazed by it, I'm not stressing a chocolate chip cookie. I'm not stressing a bowl of pasta. Like, okay, enjoy. You know, my kids, I'll make them pancakes. Nope, you guys enjoy. So once you defeat those sort of things, that's where that's where you realize that
you're unstoppable.
You're unstoppable, and that you did rig alcohol in your favor, because when you can do something like that, then everything else gets easier and you become stronger. And like I said, the very attributes that make you an obsessive person, in that sense of I need more of this and more of that, can be implemented into work, can be implemented into positive things, whether, you know, I don't know.
Your marriage.
The gym, eating right, things like that. And then that would be one way to rig that in your favor. So, you know, when I heard the question, I wanted to be part of it because I've never come out publicly and said it. And, but also I thought it was important for Mom to hear that. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and he'll come out stronger. And if he uses the strength he gets from that, it will be rigged in his favor. All right.
I so appreciate you coming on. It's so great to meet you. Your
Good to
wife
meet
is,
you.
of course, you know, an amazing heart, and her father, which was a friend of mine, was somebody who just used his life and his humor and his wisdom and energy to inspire people. He inspired me, and it's incredible how life goes full circle. And a couple things I want to say about what you said. We're all obsessive people. So we are all obsessive. We are all compulsive. And the question is, obsessive about what? Compulsive about what? So alcoholics or people that are addicts are compulsive about smoking or about drinking, or some people are obsessive about working. Some people are obsessive about being negative. To me, it's all energy. And so when you choose to say something is rigged in my favor, like alcoholism, what you're doing is you're deciding to love yourself. Think of all the things that you're doing. You're eating healthy, you're exercising, you're taking care of your marriage. These are all things that practice self-worth, self-love, and it builds you. Like I get to see the confidence that you that you show and that you project, and the certainty, and you're standing on a powerful place. Like the word is really unstoppable. And we can become unstoppable from the most negative and the harshest thing, like alcoholism or drug addiction. Of course, there's other support systems that you're going to need along the way, but I've always been obsessive compulsive. It just didn't translate into alcohol for me. It did for my brother. To me, it translated into, being destructive. Like I would get kicked out of school. I was a troublemaker. I couldn't sit still for more than a minute. And so I was always getting in trouble. And that was the way I manifested it. And so I was able to take that energy and focus it on taking care of myself, making a difference for other people. And so it's a question of what we do with our energy. And you can use your energy to self-destruct, or you could use your energy to construct and create. So
I'm going to tell you something, Chris.
What a great example. Thank you for that.
So Chris, I'm going to tell you that, and this is for everybody here, and I share this a lot in my coaching sessions. So when I do one-on-one sessions with people, especially when I have women who are struggling with husbands that might have alcohol addictions or drinking problems, I've shared this with many of my clients, and that is that alcoholism saved my marriage. It really did, because it gave me a husband that is exemplary, a husband that is a role model to my children, a husband that is a beacon of hope and of transformation, who is unstoppable, who was willing to give everything he had to save his family and save his children. And I'm so proud of him for sharing that with us. So alcoholism can be rigged in your favor.
It can.
Anything can be rigged in your favor. Truly anything. It's just, let's remember that all events are neutral. All events are neutral. We're the ones. There's a book I recommend. I think that'd be great for you as well. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. It's by Victor.
Oh, I read it.
It's an incredible book. It changed my life, and it's all about perception. It's all about really looking at, we're the ones who give importance to things. We're the ones who add significance to things. And if you realize that I have the power to shift my perceptions and to take accountability for that, I can do anything.
That's right.
Well, let me tell you something about the neutral. Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.
Nice to meet you.
Let me tell you something about the neutral thing. That concept of, talk about life-changing things that you have done, Chris. You changed my life with a life is rigged in your favor. You changed Betsy's life, who's on this call, with events are neutral. That was something that really changed the way that she proceeded in her, she's also a therapist and a speaker, and she does a lot of the work that we do. And that's one of the most beautiful things about our work is that we influence each other, we inspire each other. And that concept that you said, events are neutral, is such a powerful thing, because we attach the meanings to to the events that we have, and we get to decide. And if you really think about it, if the event is neutral, then you can always rig it in your favor. So
right, and we also have someone asked about these things. Are these things learned? Yes, it's learned to be dramatic. It is learned to be, oh my God, Dios mío, se va a explotar el mundo. You know, we overreact to anything, and we overreact to things that don't even happen. Like we overreact to what might happen. We overreact to what happens. And so we're the ones adding the drama to situations. And how many of you seen a problem, a small problem, become bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and before you know it, it's a tsunami because you overreacted to something, and then that created another drama, another drama, another drama. And to me, realizing that life is neutral, living is neutral, dying is neutral, a car accident is neutral, divorce is neutral. We're the ones who add the importance, the significance. And if I want to be effective, if I want to be effective in life, then I can't drain my energy in a reaction, because now I have two problems. I got the event that I need to resolve, and I got my drama. It's kind of like I can't change the fact that my car got hit. But I have a couple choices there. I could be dramatic and pissed off and have a stroke, a heart attack. The cop comes, I'm so upset I can't even talk to explain what happened. I'm so upset I can't see the hit and run license plate because I'm freaking out. Or I could go, wait a minute, let me just calm down. This is neutral. Let me breathe. And now I've got my energy that I can use to resolve anything. That comes from a podcast I did, 7 Keys to a Bulletproof Life. And it's all about, and I recommend it, it's Lewis Howes' podcast. I have so many on there that I love, but that is probably one. There's two that relate to what we're talking about. One is 7 Keys to a Bulletproof Life. Check it out. It literally changes people's lives. And that's where I talk about neutrality. And the second one is how to turn a breakdown into a breakthrough, how to pivot, how to process any negative situation and turn it into an opportunity. And it comes to exactly what Betsy lives, her neutrality, and Caroline, life is rigged in my favor.
I love that. I love that. And so how do you turn a breakdown into a breakthrough?
Well, the first step is to acknowledge it. You got to acknowledge that you're having a breakdown. Many people are in denial, and it's not a river in Egypt. They are they're in denial about the breakdown. Most people.
And how do you know that you're in denial? How do you know that you are in a breakdown if you're in denial?
Because you're pretending, and you know when you're pretending. How's your marriage? Great. How's your health? Good. How are you financially? Amazing. How are your kids? Oh, they're so good. They're all saints. All my kids are geniuses. It's like you want to you put things in perspective where you're avoiding. And a lot of us are the king and queens of avoiding. And there's so many ways we avoid. We are workaholics. We avoid by, obsessing. There's so many, we avoid on the internet. We avoid in so many ways. So the first key is to acknowledge the breakdown and to acknowledge that you're having it. What I do is I write it down. I love writing down, okay, I'm experiencing a breakdown, and this is the breakdown that I'm experiencing. So I write it down and I name it. Or I share it, like I call up a friend, hey, listen, I'm going through a breakdown. Here's the breakdown. And so that's
I love how you said, Chris, I'm experiencing a breakdown. And it's not the first time you said it. Before you said, I'm experiencing sadness. You're not marrying the experience. It's just simply an experience. And I think that goes back to what you said originally about you're one thought away from changing your life, right? So it's easy to adopt, I am broken down. I am sad. I am depressed. I am miserable. I'm a failure, as opposed to I am experiencing X, Y, or Z.
Oh, great catch, Caroline, because that speaks into another one of my philosophies. And my philosophy is I am spirit. I am not my body. I'm not my brain. I'm not my breakdowns. I'm not my challenges. I am spirit. I'm a spirit having a human experience. I'm a spirit having a human experience. And I believe that I am spirit. And so I don't want to become the breakdown. So it's not I am, whenever you say the words I am, whatever comes after, be careful.
Amen to that.
Make sure that it's always something positive or empowering. Never say I'm stupid, I'm clumsy. Never claim something you don't want. Don't ever say my ex-husband. Don't ever say my ex. Say the ex. The ex.
Or my bad knee.
The bad knee. The bad knee, the ex, the divorce, not my divorce, the divorce, the breakdown, the challenge, the versus mine. Because when you say something is yours, it becomes you. And make sure that what you claim is something you want to keep. So you don't want to keep your ex-husband, so don't say mine. My experience of pain, sadness, I experience sadness, I experience pain. So when I'm having a breakdown, I acknowledge that I am experiencing something. That's the first step, to acknowledge it. Why do you want to acknowledge something? Because you gain power over it when you acknowledge it. The second step is to take responsibility for it. What do I do by take responsibility for it? Is I am responsible for how I view it. So I choose a positive yes to it. So I'm experiencing anger. Yes. I'm experiencing loss. Yes. I'm experiencing this or that. Why do you want to take responsibility? Because you could go either way. You could go to the desert or you could go to the forest. I'd rather
it's very hard. It's very hard for people to accept responsibility for things that are beyond their control. It is very difficult for people to do.
In your control is your reaction to it.
Correct.
That's in your control. So I don't say it's my fault. A lot of people collapse. What you're telling me is they collapse responsibility with blame. So something could be your responsibility and not your fault.
Correct.
Sometimes things are your fault and your responsibility. Tú la embarraste y es tu responsabilidad. Y a veces tú no la embarraste, te la embarraron, pero puedes tomar responsabilidad. Porque when you take responsibility, what you're saying is, I don't want to give you my power. I'm not going to give my power away. And so how is this a blessing? What can I learn from it? What can I do different? What can shift? I promise to release 20 pounds. I gained 15. Yes. What can I learn from it? How can I grow from it? What can I do different? I promise to be patient with my kids. I lost mi paciencia. Yes. What can I learn from it? How can I do different? I promised to save 10,000. I spent 20,000. Yes. What can I learn from it? What's the blessing? My husband dumped me. Yes. What can I learn from it? To the left, his loss. What can I learn from it? What can I do different? You can apply it to anything in life. It's user friendly. So once I acknowledge it and I learn and I look at the lesson, the third step is to process the emotion. Process the emotion is get that negativity out. One way is to write it down, talk to a friend, call Caroline, listen, I'm having a meltdown. I need 2 minutes to vent. Let it rip. So I always process the emotion, whether it's meditation, journaling, or screaming. You have to see this. You're going to laugh. So today I did a video of me in the elevator.
Are you ever stressed out, angry, pissed off? I know the perfect place to release it. The elevator. Watch.
I love that. By the way,
Because it's
Chris, before you
important
continue, it's 6:56 and our call is until 7. And I want to finish listening to your steps, but I don't know how you're doing on time, and I really want to be respectful of your time. Can you go over a few minutes?
I'm good. So
Okay.
release it. Once you release it, the next step is forgiveness. Forgive yourself, forgive others. And that's it. You want to learn the rest of the steps? Then look at the video on the Lewis House step.
Okay, hold on. We're going acknowledge, accept responsibility, process the emotions.
Process and release the emotion. And the fourth step is forgiveness.
You got to give us the next 3 steps.
Forgive others. Those are the most important steps that you need to work on.
Okay, but you got to give me 5, 6, and 7. I have to know what they are.
Okay, the next step is make a new commitment. Make a new commitment. My new commitment is to lose 5 pounds. My new commitment is to be patient with my husband. My new commitment is to open my business. Whatever the breakdown was, make a commitment about it. The next step is create urgent action. Urgent action. Urgent action is the difference between a nice idea and reality. We have a lot of great ideas, but we don't take the action. So urgent action. And the final step is celebrate your results. Oh my God, we did it. Celebrate the results. And if you don't accomplish it, go back to step 1.
Oh my God, I love this. You know that I had an aha moment while you were talking, and I have to share it with you. And I just want to get your opinion on it. You said something when we were talking about step 2 of accept responsibility. You said that when you accept responsibility, what you're saying is, I don't want to give you my power, right? And it just dawned on me that part of the reason that people don't accept responsibility is because they don't feel powerful. They don't know they have power. They don't feel empowered. They haven't stepped into that power, and therefore it's so easy to give it away. It's easy to blame others and to be a victim when you have no power. I just had that breakthrough with you, Chris.
When you accept responsibility, your message to yourself is, given I am powerful, I can look at this responsibly.
So now everybody knows, and that's how we are going to end this call, which is you are all so powerful. You are incredibly powerful. And in order to show and step into that power, you need to follow these steps, right? That Chris has given you with so much generosity and love and humor. Thank you.
I want to share a picture of my mom before we go so that you have an idea of who my mom was. There she is.
Que linda. And for those of you that don't follow Chris Lee, you need to go to Instagram and go to Chris Lee Motivator and follow him, and you will be able to keep up with him and all his adventures. And let's promote your book.
Transform
Your Life.
10
Get it on
principles
Amazon.
Of abundance and prosperity. English, Spanish, Audible in my voice. So you got me in your ear. Kindle.
I love it. And before we go, my dear Betsy wants to share something. So I want to give her an opportunity to share. Mm-hmm. You know, she's like a huge fan of yours, and she's been promoting you for the last 3 days. I am a big fan, and I want to tell you, I'm going to cry. I've been crying the entire session. So like this is so beautiful. So tomorrow is the 8th anniversary of me becoming the chosen mother of an angel. And I just got dumped today by my assistant. Yes. Yes, all the way. And I just wanted to tell you something real quick. Two things. I want to tell you two things. When we went to the Lewis House workshop, I believe in reframing. I believe that I'm, I believe that I'm the chosen mom of an angel, not the bereaved mom who lost a daughter. And like you gave it, I'm sorry. I'm like, no, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry for feeling. You gave words, like you helped me, and I'm a psychologist, right? So I understand all these things clinically, but like to me it was so beautiful. Like that whole workshop on interpretation and life being neutral, it gave me the words. So then now I'm able to share with my clients, with my audience, eso, better because you gave me the words. So thank you for that. The second thing I wanted to share is I went to the thing that you did with Barbara, and you asked us, you did an exercise, beautiful exercise, where you asked us to visualize ourselves in a year. And what I shared in that conference is that I visualized myself signing a book that I wrote for my daughter, and I wanted to share with you.
Oh my God.
That I wrote the book, which was a gift to my daughter, and it's like I know she continues her legacy through our story, and I just wanted to thank you because I know I'm like so emotional today, and then freaking Orlando, like coming in, I'm like really, I'm just gonna crawl up in bed and cry all day. So beautiful. Anyhow, so I know you know this, but but I guess you'll never know to what extent what you do transforms other people's lives. And I just want to say thank you. And I also listen to your podcast. I'm a big Lewis House fan. I go every year to his summit, and I heard you there for the first time, and I messaged you because I was in love with you. And when you said the thing about like spirits, I know C.S. Lewis talks about being, spirit and having a human experience, and you, like, I am so attracted to your spirit. Like, I loved you from the moment I heard your voice. I loved you. So I just want to say thank you so much. You've been the face of Christ for me in so many ways. So thank you.
I love you, Betsy, and thank you for your words. And don't ever hold back what you feel. What you're saying is so important to me, because yes, I've had the privilege to impact people, but when I hear you speak, it means so much to me because, every day I choose to do this. Every day I use my life, and even though I'm going through a very painful moment with my mom and all that, but I believe that I was put on earth to serve people. And the biggest satisfaction I get is when I hear someone like you share what you just shared. So thank you so much. I can't wait to see you and give you a hug. And your daughter,
me too.
you didn't lose her, you gained her.
I know.
You gained her. She's here. I gained my mom, and mom is here. Your dad's with you, Caroline, your dad, Caro, está contigo siempre.
And yesterday was his birthday. So
oh my God. And when you asked me if I would do this, I'm like, of course. Like how could I ever say no to you? I'm a yes to you. I would follow you anywhere.
Well, I called her. I'm like, what the heck? How did you get Chris Lee to come to this? Life really is rigged in your favor.
I love all of you. Eva, great to see you. Lida, hello. These are the girls. Francis,
we're your greatness girls.
Everybody.
The greatness gals.
Saludos, Anna, Martin. Saludos, Miriam, Ana Suarez, Jairo, all of you. Thanks for being with me. Big
and
hug.
Jairo went to your event
I know, I remember him.
Yeah, he went to your event in UM also.
I follow him on Instagram. We follow each other.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, thank you. Thank you for this amazing interview. It has been so powerful. Thank you for your time and for your generosity. And I hope everybody sees you guys on Instagram. Post a picture of you with this book.
Blessings.
I'm buying the book right now. Your audio, the audio book.
Where do I get your book?
Oh, I'm going to send it to you. You send me your address and I'm going to send you the book.
Okay.
Yes, that's what we have.
So that way I
do.
can dedicate it.
Dale, mi amor, un beso.
Nice.
I love it.
Besito.
I love it. I
Bye.
love it. I love it. And for those of you that are in the community and want to share this amazing interview with your friends, remember that right now on Mighty Networks, we have a 2-week free trial that we're offering to any of the women that join in the community. So you get to hear the replay in our Mighty Network. So make sure that you take advantage and you get your 2-week free trial.
And
And
share
for everybody else,
share this with people that need to hear this.
that's right. And everybody that is on their 7-day challenge, I hope you guys are kicking some serious butt. I am so, so, so happy that we're doing this week. It's just been an amazing week. And happy birthday to my dad. I love you, Chris. Thank you so much.
Bye. Besito.
Bye, everybody.